Hey, what's up YouTube? Welcome to the We All Juggle Knives channel, and welcome to my review of this light. It is a very powerful floodlight from Olight. As you can see, it's got 3 emitters, and you see the orange peel reflector wells too. You might remember my previous review of that light. That is the X7, 9,000 lumens. Well, the X7R is 12,000 lumens, and it has a built-in battery pack with recharging in the light. The light comes with this belt holster. It's got the belt loop there, and it's got the Velcro there. It also comes with that lanyard you see there, as well as a USB to micro USB cable and that adapter. Now that adapter allows you to plug this into any normal electrical socket for recharging, and it speeds up the recharging time compared to USB recharging by a factor of 3. This also has this feature, which is a pop-out lanyard hole. It has a nail nick and it's a pop-out lanyard hole. It's pretty cool. Here are the stats on the light. As you can see, it has 6 brightness levels, maximum lumens 12,000. It also has one special mode, which is strobe, and you can also see the run times there. And the maximum beam distance is listed as 380 meters. Operation of the light. Well, if you long press this from off, you will get the night light mode. Alright, so that's just the lowest mode. If you just press it, it will turn on in whatever brightness level it was turned off in, except for turbo and super turbo. So since it was in night light, it turned on again in night light mode. If you hold it down, it will cycle. So it will cycle through low, medium, and high. In order to get to turbo, you have to double tap. And to get to Turbo S or Super Turbo, you have to double tap again. This is as bright as it gets. This is the 1200 lumens. All right. It just powered down. That was because of the motion sensor. That's so it doesn't catch things on fire. There you go. So as you saw there, it does have a proximity sensor. If anything goes too close to it, it will power down so that it doesn't light things on fire. It will also power down if the light reaches a certain internal temperature, like if it's getting hot enough to damage itself, it will reduce the output. And now to get to strobe, you either triple tap or any number of taps more than 3. So strobe warning. There you go. Now if you want to lock out the controls, all you do is you hold this down. At first it'll turn on the night light, but if you keep holding it down, it'll just turn off, and that will be lockout mode. And if you want to unlock it, you just press this again for a long time, and that will unlock it. Okay, I turned off all the lights in order to demonstrate the lit side switch, which automatically turns on when you pick the light up because of the motion sensor. Alright, I'm going to pick the light up. There you go. So as soon as you move the light in any way, that side switch will start to glow. And it'll look like, you know, the One Ring from The Hobbit, except it's green instead of gold, but that's a good feature because it lets you find the switch in the dark as soon as you pick up the light. Now this light has an internal battery pack inside there, and to recharge it, it has this collar, and it has a covered port. So you just rotate that, and then you plug the micro USB into there. So basically you just plug that in, and then you plug it to here, and then you plug this into a regular electrical socket. Now when it is recharging, there's a small light that's right there that will be red. When it's fully charged, it will be green. Okay, YouTube, let's go demonstrate this light, or should I say I'm going to roll in the demo footage. I'm going to show you some beam shots, both cross-section as well as from the top, Then we'll go do some floodlight action at the creek and maybe some other places. All right, after that, we'll come back for final thoughts on this light. Here is a top view beam shot of this Olight flashlight. I mean, that is one huge river of light. Check it out. Okay, here are some beam shots of this Olight. Let us cycle through the modes. And that is the super turbo mode. That is as bright as it gets. And wow, that is just ungodly bright. That is really pretty amazing. I mean, that's just crazy. All right, let's demonstrate the strobe. Okay, big warning. The strobe is about to strobe. And there you go. Okay, we're at the sports field. And there you can actually see the soccer goal. So it did cross the sports field even in these humid conditions. Here is the Olight flashlight overlooking Frog Creek. This thing really brings the dawn. You would think that it's daylight down there with that amount of light. I mean, you can see every bubble. Yeah, it just looks like daylight right here. It's the middle of the night. Hey, what is up, YouTube? We are back for final thoughts on this light, both positive and negative. Now, one thing you should know, there was another reviewer named Dropforge Survival who did test this by freezing it in ice, and after a certain period of time, the light did fail the test. Now, the only reason I mentioned that is because there might be people who live in some super cold area or something, or I don't know. If that's important to you, then you should know that freezing it in ice might cause the light to fail. It's not really important to me because in my usage of the light, you know, that's never going to happen to my light, so it doesn't really affect my opinion of it at all. Now, when I criticize a light, that's not to bash companies. That's actually to help them improve their products, to help them sell more, make more profits. I'm all for that. So when I do criticism, it's constructive, right? So what would I change about this light? I gotta say the controls and the different modes, it's a little bit overly complicated for, let me give you an example. The double tap for turbo, I'm totally fine with that. That's a good idea. But then having to double tap again for like a second turbo mode, the brightest mode should just be called the turbo mode. You know, I don't like the idea like turbo, turbo S, super turbo. I mean, how many turbos are there going to be? And to reach that mode, you have to click 4 times. It's like double tap and then another double tap. That's where it just gets a little too complicated. I mean, I just think they could have done it simpler. Me personally, I would have had an entire separate switch to control just the Turbo S and the strobe. And there are other flashlight companies that have done just that, okay? And it worked. Yeah, I mean, I don't like 4 clicks for that. And then you have to do a triple click to get the strobe. I mean, if I have to strobe someone with this much light, I need it almost right away. Also, this right here where it will memorize it will memorize the first 4 brightness levels. But it will only memorize the high mode for 10 minutes. And then it'll revert to medium. And then the turbos will be memorized as high, but then revert to medium after 10 minutes. What the heck is this? I mean, why, dude? I mean, like the high mode being only memorized for 10 minutes? Do you hear that train? I'm sorry if you hear the train background noise. There's like a train out there. But anyway, why are they so afraid of even the high mode? Like they think you're just going to be blinding people accidentally? Are they basically trying to idiot-proof the light? Dude, the idiot-proofing is that the light is very expensive, so nobody's just going to buy it on a whim if they don't know about flashlights, hopefully. So yeah, basically, get rid of the 4 clicks to get to the highest mode. Make the mode memory just straight out memorize whichever brightness level you turned it off in. You don't need those safeguards. And triple tap is too much for the strobe because that's an emergency function. So find a way to get to the strobe and the Turbo S quicker. Alright, so that's how I would change the light. Now, what are the good points of the light? It is extremely bright. I mean, it is just super bright and it has a very wide flood effect. So you can just light up huge areas. Like a large building, like the entire, let's say you're a security guard at a warehouse, you can light up the entire side of a large building. Or like a field, or if you own a large property. You know, I have tested this side by side with other floodlights, and the lumens are accurate. I tested this against one of my through nights that's 10,000 lumens. And I was able to tell just with the naked eye, not even having to measure, I was just able to tell just by looking that this was a bit brighter. Now as far as the battery pack, a lot of times I don't like a battery pack. I just like to be able to switch batteries in and out between different lights. And I like to recharge in a smart charger. But in this case, the battery pack is actually a good idea. I like to be able to swap batteries in and out, but if you could remove those batteries, like to buy another set of the Olights, it would be about $70 at least. So realistically, am I going to buy like another $70 set of batteries? Probably not, so I don't really need the capability to switch them in and out. So in this case, I think the battery pack's a good idea because it will prevent the usage of inferior batteries or batteries that are more dangerous. Also, since Olight makes another version that doesn't have the battery pack, I mean, it doesn't hurt to have both versions available and you can pick your poison if you're the consumer. Another good thing about the light, that side switch, the lit side switch with the motion sensor, that is genius because I like lit side switches, but I don't like them lit all the time because that's just a battery drain. So the fact that this can sense when you pick it up and just light, for a certain period of time so you can find the side switch in the dark, that is genius. Best of both worlds. Another drawback you should know about is just that the light gets extremely hot in turbo and super turbo modes, and any light in this same category is going to overheat very quickly. That just goes with the territory. But it is something you definitely should know if you're not familiar with these. They get hot really quickly. Alright, so final conclusions. This is just what it claims to be, an ultra bright floodlight. And for a light that takes 4 batteries, in its battery pack, it's relatively compact. Do I recommend this? Yes. Do I recommend it above competing lights? That's trickier. That really depends. A lot of people don't like battery packs. So if that's you, then no. And like I said, you might prefer a different type of interface. So again, if you don't like the interface, then maybe not. Now, if you want to pick one of these up, I will include an Amazon link. Olight in general is a very high quality. My every night carry light is actually an Olight R50 Seeker law enforcement model. Okay, so it's a good company overall. The links will be in the text description box. I hope you enjoyed seeing this light. This has been We All Juggle Knives and Lights. I'm out.